Hello, everybody. This is Season 3, Episode 1 of the Everything and Nothing podcast. I'm Ethan Whitman, and I am here today with my old coworker and good friend, Ryan. Insert your last name. What the hell is your last name?
Saffici.
Ryan Saffici. I'm here with my good friend and old coworker, Ryan Saffici, who's in my phone as Ryan Tubing.
And it's Ethan
Wasn't
Tenney.
important. Ethan Tenney. Perfect. There we go. Tubing Tenney. Tenney Tubing. And yeah, I'm here with him to talk about where he's at in his life. He's from Florida, Boca Raton. He grew up down there. He did a semester at FAU, another semester at Palm Beach State. And he decided college was not for him at the time, so he dropped out. He moved up north. He did some work as an electrician, and that's where our lives crossed. Was right after that he started working with me at Tenny Mountain Ski Area, working the tubing hill. So
Good time.
Yeah, Ryan, how we doing?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here. I'm glad you had me on. Not quite sure what's in store for this podcast, but that's what life's about. Things happen, so.
All right, let's start there. Things happen. What happened to you that made you make the switch out of college?
In school, I was always pretty good. Did my work. Solid A- student. After high school, in the summer, I would watch all these videos on YouTube about people doing what they actually wanted to do, taking gap years, this and that. I did a summer semester, which I believe is 9 weeks at FAU. And got the feel that college wasn't for me right away. Following that summer, I went right into the fall semester at Florida Atlantic, where I didn't do so well. I did a full course load, got the feel it still wasn't really for me, but I wanted to finish out the year. I transferred to Palm Beach State College in Boca Raton in the same town, and did my last semester there. Did all right, but did not want to go back for my sophomore year. What made me make the switch was getting out and seeing things that I haven't seen before. I've been in that part of town for 14 years. I wanted to get out and experience new things and more to life than what I've learned in my 19 years.
Yeah. What did you get out and see?
I had family in New Hampshire, which was quite the difference from Boca Raton, going in from the city to a small town. But I loved it. And on paper, it doesn't seem like I've done a whole lot. But in the last year and a half, being out of Florida, I feel like I've learned a lot. Spiritually is the wrong word, but just in the grand scheme of life, things that I think are more important. I've been hanging out with older people that are later on in their lives, which has its pros and cons, but I'm grateful for the experience that I've heard from all these people and what they think about life to form my own opinion.
Yeah, that's cool. So you think breaking out of that college atmosphere, where you're still kind of treated like a kid, and
a little bit. I was living at home. I was supposed to get on-campus housing. Didn't end up getting on-campus housing. Stuff happens. I think that would have been a little bit different, but I might have gone off the deep end, partied too much, and got kicked out of school. So
is that what happened? Oh, you said you might have gotten. Yeah, I see. I was like, Ryan, I didn't see you getting kicked out like that. But yeah, you never know. So did it feel more like an extension from high school to be living at home still?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to the same places to eat. A bunch of my friends went off to these big schools. It kind of felt like I was doing the same thing that I've always been doing, which I wanted to avoid. I knew that. I was conscious of that after high school and still stepped into it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's tough. There's a lot of societal pressure to go to college. Even if you have an idea that it might not be for you, but you don't have I want to do this instead, then I feel like it can be tough to make that jump.
Right. And if there's no clear path, I know people that haven't wanted to go to college even with the pressures from society, their parents, their friends, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But they know in their heart of hearts what they want to do or what they want to pursue.
Yeah.
And whether that's plumbing or film school specifically or just a clear path,
Yeah.
I think that makes a big difference. And at the time, I didn't. I just knew that I didn't want to continue living the life that I was because I didn't feel fulfilled.
Yeah. So you just had like this feeling that it wasn't right for you and that you wanted to try something new, but you weren't sure what that new thing should be or would be.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like you were like heavily influenced and like dreaming because of like some of the videos you were watching and stuff? You said you watched people doing like cool gap years and things like that.
That's what put the idea in my head that I really didn't have to go to school. I mean, my mom has her master's and my dad has his doctorate, so wasn't forced on me, but it was
Heavily.
what you did. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So you kind of living a split life, it feels like. Like you were going to school, but you were still kind of dreaming of something different.
right, something that I knew was obtainable, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. So you moved up to New Hampshire and you got a job as an electrician right away, or were you doing something else first?
I think I was kind of being a bum for the first 2-3 months that I got here, honestly.
Word, like not working?
Not working. I kind of left Florida in a bad headspace, just wrapped up. Like, I never really was an overthinker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my sister has, I forget what it's called, but I know there's A and B, and she had, like, the more high-strung,
Like a type
warrior
A personality.
type A. And, like, she used to mess with me and say, like, stuff never bothers you, but
Mm-hmm.
like, I just was not happy with where I was in my life. So I got to New Hampshire, probably wasted 2 months, and then I was
What were you doing for 2 months?
going to the gym, exploring the area.
That
I was
sounds
going on a
cool.
bunch of hikes. I had some money saved up so I could go get food, pay my rent fine. I mean, do whatever I wanted to realistically.
That sounds like 2 months well spent.
It was good while it lasted, but while that's nice, I think I still wasn't fulfilled. I believe that fulfillment's like the best thing you can get out of life rather than happiness, because it's
Interesting.
you worked for it. Like, I can be happy because I found $100 on the street, but if I come home and did something that I loved doing and was proud of my work, I would take that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, it's more like a long-term actualized happiness than like the
Yeah.
instant gratification of
Yeah.
finding $100. Yeah, that's cool, man. You so after that you started doing electrical because you wanted to try that out.
After that, I started doing electrical. It was good. I liked it. I did that for probably 4 months. It was just starting to be like winter was just creeping up, so getting up in the dark at 5 o'clock in the morning and scraping the snow off the windshield was something I wasn't used to.
Yep.
But I didn't want to be trapped to that lifestyle. And I was looking around me, and it seemed like a lot of people on that particular job, not all across the board because I really don't know, but they seemed like they were unhappy people and just living for the weekend to the absolute most. And I feel like you lose out on so much of life doing that.
Yeah.
And maybe that's necessary at 30 with a wife and kids, but for a 19-year-old at the time, I didn't want to be living for the weekend and locked into a schedule of that.
Yeah, I think you're smart to be at that point in your life. As a 19-year-old, you're looking for like, what do you want your life to look like when you're 30? I think you seem to be someone. You say you're not like super like type A and like everything has to be planned out, but I do think you look ahead to your future and you're like, okay, this is cool, but I don't want to do this forever. When you're 30, you like, what is your dream life when you're 30? If you had to tell me, what do you want your life to look like?
Career-wise, lifestyle-wise, all across the board.
Anything, just like, what do you think of when you picture yourself at 30? Do you have 7 dogs? Do you like live in Japan? What do you imagine? You're contractually obliged to follow this plan too, like when you're 30, or else you owe me a lot of money.
Sounds good.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, no pressure.
I'm going to answer the political answer of that is yet to be determined. I don't have a great guideline. I'm kind of trying to figure it out being 20 and what the next 3, 4, 5 years look like.
Yep.
30 just seems like a long time away to try to control what's going to happen.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you seem like someone that at least like desires, like you said, fulfillment. You wanna follow your passion. It seems like you want to get to 30 and be happy. It seems like
Fulfilled.
fulfilled. Well, yeah, yeah. It's so
I
interesting.
personally think those are two separate things.
Yeah.
Because happiness can just happen. Like it's nothing you did. Like it's a feeling of dopamine, whatever the science is. But you could get it from picking up $100.
Totally.
And you would be, any sane person would be happy. Fulfillment, I think, is really personally what I'm chasing.
So more of like a long term. I like the word actualized. Like you're doing what you feel is worth doing in the world. You're like proud of it, and you're content in that, in the life that you build around that, and with that. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
cool. How does that compare to like? So now you've been living up. You lived in New Hampshire. You did electrical. You worked at a ski mountain with me. Worked
Absolutely.
on the tubing hill a lot.
Yeah.
Very different type of living from Florida.
Yep.
What are like some of the biggest differences between that and your childhood? Like what stands out to you from living in Florida?
Fantastic question, Ethan. So the town that I was in, I think they do consider it a city because of the population. No big skyscrapers or anything like that, but everything was cookie cutter. There were all the grass was sod, all the trees were planted palm trees that were already grown, that they would dig up the dirt, put the trees in. Every intersection was 90 degrees. It just didn't feel very authentic. I've been coming to New Hampshire for a long time, growing up for Christmases and summer break, all that stuff. So I got a taste growing up of what it was like to be more connected with nature, which is something that's really big for me. Another thing I noticed was the entitlement, and I think that was my area more particularly than any spot I've been to in New England.
Interesting.
I'm sure I just haven't been there, but my high school was known that the kids would have better teachers than the cars.
Better cars than the teachers.
I knew kids that for their first car they would get an Audi A3. I don't know how much it costs, but I knew kids with the V8 Mustangs. Like, it just was not reality.
Yeah, they're just getting money handed down to them type.
Absolutely. And
yeah.
Not working for what you have, I think, is a problem that only leads to worse things later on.
Yeah, do you think those kids that you're interacting with, like you said, they were entitled, they just expected things in their life to go their way. Do you think they were fulfilled? Do you think they are now?
Maybe, but on a surface level. I really can't tell you. I feel like I've learned a lot in the last year and a half on a deeper level, like I was saying, on paper from what you just started reading, taking notes. It doesn't sound like I've done that much, but I feel like the experiences that I've had being away from where I grew up really added a lot.
What are some of the things that you think you have learned that you can't put down on paper that lead you to feel like you are getting closer to that fulfillment, maybe, or at least more understanding what fulfillment could mean to you?
Without rambling, I believe.
Welcome to Ramble.
I believe the majority of people define success as money, fame, or status. I never would want to be famous. It's never something that I've liked. I think that we grow up in a generation where everybody thinks they deserve to be famous for something. With all of like the explosion of social media and TikTok, and I believe success is defined by the impact that you leave on people once you're gone. I think that's all you have, that and your word are all you have in this world. You can be a billionaire and die tomorrow, and all you have is the impact that you've left behind and how you've affected people positively in their own lives. And I think the goal for society should be to keep that going. And I think that that's one of the greater lessons I feel like I've learned. Where if I asked some of my friends at home, it would probably be success would be measured by fame or money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. So you're measuring it more by the work that you do, the things that you do, and how that affects yourself and all the people around you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really cool. I hope you're not going to hate me if this podcast becomes popular. Because what do you think about? You say like I agree. I think people look for money and power, and as if like either of those things is gonna make them feel worthy or make their life feel successful. And I think a lot of people get there and are honestly confused why they don't feel the way that they want to feel. I think that's a lot of what like midlife crisis is like getting to the middle of your life to all the things everyone always told you to have. You have the job and the family and the car or whatever, and you're kind of like, oh, I still don't really feel that way. So then you get like the nice car that you dreamed of as a teenager type thing, and it probably still doesn't quite make you feel the way that you're hoping to feel.
Right.
But I think because of that, for a while, I like shied away from it, even like money, because even just to put fame aside, even because I was like, oh well, like that's not going to bring me happiness. But I found for myself learning to like accept money has also been part of finding that fulfillment.
Right. You need money to pay rent, and there's definitely freedom that comes with money. Absolutely.
Yeah, and like impact. Like, yeah.
So give me an example of what you're thinking.
I think a lot of people are told like money is evil, or those who have too much money are evil. And I think that if you look around, you can find plenty of examples of that being true. I also think that that is something that can prevent us from attaining money and really keep us more afraid of aiming for, I don't say success, but I guess like that avenue of success.
If you believe
success in that quadrant of life, I guess.
That was my next question for you: is how do you personally, in your 23 years on this earth, define success?
I guess I recently heard a definition of success that I really liked, and I wish I could quote who it was from, but I don't have it on the top of my head. But they basically said to them, success is to be working towards something that you value deeply.
It's great. I love that.
And just the idea that like you're never going to attain it if you build say you build $1 million charity, and that was like what you thought, and now you like are donating money to feed homeless people all around the country. Like that's success in like my eyes in a great way.
Yeah.
Yet at the same time, it's like you're 35. Like what's the next thing?
Right.
So that's I think the idea of like just the continuous building and having that mission, and that it is all really about the journey of getting there. So it's like to be able to have that thing that you're aiming for and like achieving and aiming for the next thing.
I love that. I've heard, and I don't know the exact definition or how it was quoted, but it was the successful people think that they've never done enough, and the people that are not successful feel like they have done enough. To be more specific, the people that are really hungry and want to go after something, whether it's sports, whether it's to make the NFL, whether it's you personally, Ethan, to make this podcast going, the people that are really hungry and really want it will never think that they've done enough. There's always something else they can do. And the people that want it to work, but they're not starving for it to work, think that they've done enough, that their production quality is good enough, that the editing is good enough, that they put in enough hours in the gym. So I've also tried to adapt that while not being a hypocrite and recognize that I think I'm lazier than I should be. But I love that part about the hungry people think that they haven't done enough.
Yeah, I like that. I was just listening to something else that was talking about, that I also can't quote directly, that was talking about basically like a healthy level of dissatisfaction and how that keeps you going forward. How, like, I'm happy with this podcast and I want to keep working to make it better. I'm happy with my life as it is. I'm very lucky. I'm very grateful for my life as it is. And I'm aiming to improve my life. And how that is such a healthy part of life, and how often, like, you hear a lot of stories of people who get to retirement and die, like, right away. And I think a big part of that could be boiled down to your purpose has been your job for as long as you can remember. Before that, it was school, and then, or whatever you were doing. And then if you have that, like, stereotypical, like, corporate job and you retire, you can kind of just be, like, purposeless. And I think your body can feel purposeless and shut down. And I think some of the smartest, most successful people I talk to, in my eyes, have plans to do the things that they value for as long as they can, because their job isn't something that they feel like they're doing as their lifeline just to get by, and instead, or even if it is, they have plans to retire and go follow their dream then, like something to keep you driving and keep you moving forward, because there's always more work to be done.
You need that, and it's healthy. And I wanted to state, so my grandfather that I was staying with when I first moved to Plymouth is 86 years old. He was 85 when I first got there, but he's 86 since then, and he works 55 hours a week.
Wow.
He's in the mill industry, so for wood, all types of wood, pine, cedar, all that stuff, and he sells equipment to the actual mills that dissect the wood whatever way they need to be dissected. But just that somebody that almost went bankrupt, had to fire 18 people in the crash of, I believe, 09.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Almost went bankrupt, had to stop with the business, had to sell acres of land that he had. And he told me, looking in the mirror, he said, I would not be able to get up and look at myself if I filed for bankruptcy, because I knew I was better than that. So I made a way, and now he's selling $1 million machines to mills all over the Northeast. And my family's always said, they said for years, since he turned 80, slow down, like, you don't need to be, like, you've made your money, like, it's all good, relax. And
Yeah.
to work 55 hours, have a better work ethic than I think a majority of the people
Yeah.
our age
Yeah.
at 86, that is very inspirational to me.
Yeah, that says something about, like, drive.
And doing what you love. I mean, if
Yeah.
you didn't love it, you would have made your money and never looked back. But
Yeah, and I feel like to people that don't really understand his side of it as much, it's like, you already have everything you need. You have your house, you made the money, you can retire, you live the rest of your life. But to him, he probably feels that his job is part of having what he needs. Like, he enjoys that, sounds like.
and the fact that he's still hungry at 86 is
Yeah, does he have plans? He's like, his next stage of his company or something? He's still
absolutely,
working
yeah.
at?
He just incorporated robots into the sawmill industry, which is a direction I never thought he would go, because he's very old school. But
yeah, that's kind of crazy to be the 86-year-old that's introducing the robots, as opposed to, like, the new guy on the scene. You'd expect it more.
and to be 86 and being the only guys on the market offering that technology in all of New England is
That's gonna be convincing to a lot of, like, old millers. Like, I
right.
don't know the proper term for that, but older people owning and running sawmills, that you would think having another old guy come over and be like, I'm behind these robots. They work good.
With a reputation, right?
With a
Not
good
some
reputation.
older guy just coming into the scene. I mean, Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not a money grab. It's like part of his. It's like his whole thing. That's really cool. Do you consider yourself to be like religious or spiritual at all, or do you not? Do you think about life like that? Do you not think about life like that? Ryan's not. Fuck.
Yeah. Putting me on blast. I believe in some sort of spirituality. I grew up, used to go to a Baptist church, and then my sister stopped going. My mom stopped going. My dad still goes. And then when I moved to Plymouth, I kind of was put in the spot to make a decision, and I ended up walking into the Church of Latter-day Saints, which I thought was a cool name for a church. It turns out they're Mormons.
Yep.
So I sat with them and listened. I wanted to be open about it. I went to another Baptist church there. I went to a Methodist church because I do believe in a God. I'm glad you asked this question, but my thought on it is you're never going to get a clear answer on what the real God is, because in every preacher I've asked, they tell you their version and what they believe. So you're not going to get the objective,
yeah, you get
unbiased opinion, right?
My God is our God.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what makes Jesus Christ different than worshiping Allah and Buddhism and Hinduism? And I mean, there's probably at least 30 religions in the world, probably way more than that.
Yeah.
But I'd like to dial in a little more. But I do believe in spirituality.
Can you tell me what you mean when you say that? Because I feel like spirituality is like kind of an overblown word at this point. It's like kind of tough to use, but you
Right.
just have to use it. It's like when you say you believe in spirituality, like
I don't know if it's reincarnation. I've heard some pretty convincing stories of that. Of course, on the internet, you never know what you can believe now. But I believe that there's something greater going on that we can't even wrap our heads around. And humans don't like change. It's in our nature to avoid a problem until it's at our doorstep. Like a water crisis in a country in the Middle East. Say, oh, that stinks. And then when it gets to Florida and we have a water crisis, it's the absolute end of the world. I mean, people don't like to deal with problems until they're actually faced with them. It's, oh, that sucks, and then just move on with their day.
Totally. Yeah.
So, circle back to your question on that. I apologize.
I mean, that's like the whole thing with like climate change. Even we have all these projections of like how bad shit could be in 10, 20, 30 years, which is not very far away. And yeah, it is definitely in our nature to put it off and cling to what's happening right now in a world that's constantly changing, which is kind of bizarre evolutionarily, but I'm sure there's reason to it that I am not capable of explaining at this time. But you also see like a lot of the people who are best at going with the flow and adapting to change and really like understand and embrace change. The people who are constantly learning are the ones who are prepared to like inherit the world when the world continues to change, as opposed to just being like really adept at acting in the world exactly as it is today.
I'm embarrassed to say this, but before I moved to New Hampshire, I heard of climate change, but it was always hot in Florida. There was no seasons. It was always hot. Like, that's just what it was. And we lived in Ohio for a few years before that, but I was just born. But getting to New Hampshire and seeing no snow when there has been snow for hundreds of years in particular months, and having that pushed back later, and warmer weather coming later, warmer water from the springs coming later. Just the impact of climate change, actually, it was pretty crazy to not be affected by something, and you say that stinks, until you're looking at it and noticing it and saying, well, there's no snow here and it's middle of January.
Yeah, it makes it like more real,
Absolutely.
more tangible. Did you feel like you've heard people talk about it more up here because of that? Like other people noticing, like, oh yeah, like no snow now, or did you just come to that
If
on
you
your
can
own?
phrase the question differently.
I feel like it's common enough that I was at the spring the other day and this old dude's just like, yeah, like the water's running slow right now. Like it's been really dry. Like stuff's changing. And I'm like, yep, stuff's changing. Like we both know what we're talking about. And I feel like that type of conversation kind of like tends to happen to me randomly, especially around here, like in the winter.
I've had those types of conversations since being up here, yeah.
Totally. With like older people maybe that are more used to seeing snow long term. Or...
By older, I'd say even 45 plus.
Yeah.
Like not just people that I would consider elderly.
Yeah. That like they're like, I've noticed a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My grandfather's talked to me about it, and he's lived in New Hampshire for his entire life. So.
And he's like, this is substantially different than when I was younger.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Which kind of opened my eyes to it, and then once I was consciously thinking about it and the months went on, I said, wow, this isn't like what I remember growing up, coming up here as a kid, and kind of connecting the dots.
And that's crazy. That's not that long. I feel like in my life it's different from when I was a kid here. And like that's not very much time.
It's not a lot of time.
Like 15 years.
Absolutely.
To what I could really remember even. It's they talk about it as like amnesia, like generational amnesia, because each generation, like if we had kids in 10 years, their first 10 winters would be so different from our first 10 winters.
Absolutely.
That like the amount of change they see like starts over and then it starts over. So it's even harder to see them, I think.
If I can ask you a couple of questions here.
Please, yeah.
Do you believe in a God or something greater than what you can see, touch, feel, taste? Do you think there's something greater?
Yeah, I guess I think of it often through like, I guess if I was to put a term on it, it'd be more of a Buddhist lens, but not totally. I try not to like pin down. Some people don't like to pull from multiple like religions and ideas, but I honestly think it's like helped me a lot to get a picture of what's going on and frame my own opinion of it.
Yep.
But I think that if you picture like, how do I make this not a long ramble? I think that this is one plane of reality, physical reality, and touch is a separate plane from sight. It's a separate plane from feeling and thinking, and that we're just in touch with certain planes of reality, and that there is some bigger, higher order that is outside of that. And I believe that we can even tap into that and be more or less attached to those things. And that's how you have some people that feel like they are constantly experiencing synchronicities and they have intuition that helps them make decisions versus other people who feel more detached from that and they have trouble making decisions or they feel more like stuck. And it's almost like some people feel like more physical and some people feel more energetic. And I think that is just like a pointer towards the fact that there's something bigger besides like the physical universe that we usually experience. And I don't know if I'd say that thing is God, but I don't see why you couldn't say that. It's just like, yeah, like the aspect of divinity of like, it's an idea of something bigger than us that we can't explain.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that you can tap into that. And like some people will use examples like your intuition is God, or like heaven is a state of consciousness and hell is a different state of consciousness. And plenty of people on this earth live on either of those. Yeah.
Good answer.
Is that it felt more like a ramble, but
no, I was following you.
That's a good question.
one more question for you, right on the spot. What would you say you have learned since being out of college? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, you went from high school into college.
Yeah.
There was no, okay.
Yeah, totally. I went from high school right into college, University of Vermont, undecided, ended up majoring in environmental studies. I'd previously avoided that because my dad was in that similar field, and I think part of me didn't want to be just like him. And then I got to school and I tried one of the classes, and I really liked it, and I went from there. But yeah, now I've been out of college for say like a year and a quarter. I've worked as a server and a bartender. I went on a 3.5 month road trip around the country. I went solo backpacking by myself for a couple weeks. I worked at Tenny with Ryan, tubing hill, ski lifts, like 60 hours a week probably on average, all winter. I traveled to Australia, New Zealand, and Thailand, and I did an internship that finally used my degree. I've done like all these different things, and I've really bounced around, and I have felt like I'm not ready to settle. I literally have a playlist that me and my college roommate made called Don't Settle. And I made another playlist last summer that was just called Manifesting Something. And I've just always felt like there's like something more coming in my life, and that I'm still growing. I'm still learning. And the more I learn and grow, the more I'm like, oh, I'm going to be growing and learning for the rest of my life. Cool. I'm never going to find like the thing. It's going to be like this thing. And then like the next cool thing, like your grandfather, like now he's going with robots, and he's just like, his business fell apart and he's like rebuilt it stronger, it sounds like. I think that's a big thing I've learned, is that like there's no like, oh, I get the career and then I'm all set. And that I'm learning to follow my intuition and to chase my dreams. And the more I do that, the happier I am, and the more uncertain I am, honestly. I think that's a big reason that we do settle into things that we're like partially aligned with, but maybe don't totally resonate with, is because it's like safe. It's like, oh, if I get out of school and get the $100,000 job, I'm comfortable. I'm safe. Like,
people like familiarity. They like patterns. They like being safe. I mean,
totally.
Absolutely. I'm
totally. Yeah. There's like
answer.
People would rather have fast food that they know it's gonna be all right. It's not gonna be amazing. And it's not gonna be terrible. It's just gonna be like consistently all right.
Trying the place to just open that has no reviews, that looks all right.
And it could be amazing or it could be awful.
Absolutely.
So we definitely go for that familiarity, and I've definitely been working on breaking myself out of that and forming new habits, changing my own like paradigms, my own thought patterns. Because I really believe that we can program our own brains for success.
I believe that as well. I'm struggling to get there, but I believe it.
And it seems like you're on a good path.
That's good, dude. I wanted to ask that question, so that's good that.
I appreciate you asking me a couple questions.
It seems like you've done a lot.
I look back and I'm like, damn, I have done so much. And I'm a busy person. I definitely I'm generally pretty high strung, and I like get a lot of stuff done, and then I'll crash really hard. But if something excites me, like, it's worth doing. The beginning of the summer, I got home from my trip and I wanted to have like a weekend at home to just like chill, because I like hadn't done that. And then every weekend it was like, I'm lucky to say that there was something going on.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm not gonna say no to that thing just to like chill one weekend. Like, do I really need to chill that bad? Like, I'm still running, and now I'm at the end of the summer, and all the weekends have come and passed, and I've ended my 2 jobs, and I'm going into my next job, and I can say that I did not ever get a single weekend to chill. And that I'm happy looking back that I followed my gut and did the things that were available to me and took the opportunities where I could.
You've lived, dude. I mean, for a bunch of the people listening, myself included, sounds like you've done a lot in 23 years. Like, still being super young, going through college, getting your degree, doing a bunch of traveling, which will be my last question, working at a ski mountain working at a job related to your degree, doing everything. I mean, it's not you. You have done a lot. And my final question for you would be, to anybody listening right now, what do you think about somebody that wants to go off and do something on their own? Like, I know you took the road trip last year and a half ago. I know you took the road trip out west by yourself. I remember saying to you, I don't think I'd do it by myself. What do you think about going off and doing things by yourself? Just saying, I don't have anybody to go with me. I don't want anyone to go with me. For the people that don't like doing things alone, what would you have to say about those experiences?
I think if that calls to you and that interests you, go do it. Like, if that is where your mind keeps going and what your heart is like kind of pulling you towards, go do it. My more recent trip, I was with people constantly. I was with my brother for a lot of it. I was with my girlfriend for even more of it. I was with a couple other friends. It was a very different trip because that's what it made sense for that trip to be. But like looking back, I'm so glad. I had friends that were going on road trips around the country, and I thought about trying to go with a friend, and I just didn't really have the right person to go with. It just like didn't really make sense. But I just knew I needed to get away and try something new. I was I knew I didn't want to work where I was working forever. I didn't want to live where I was living forever. And I just like it was like I don't really know what I want to do with my life, but it sounds cool to drive around the country. So like I'm gonna go try it. And I'd never done anything like that. I mean I'm lucky to say I've done road trips with my family growing up. But they were a lot shorter and I was with people the whole time. And just to take that step was definitely a huge moment for me in my growth to really have that time to myself to explore and think and journal and just like see what the rest of the country is like. I think by like exposing yourself to that stuff, you can just learn so much. So yeah, to get back to your question, I think if it calls to you, do it. If what's holding you back is your fear of it, that's almost more of a sign that you need to do it.
It's a good answer. That's what I thought you were going to say. No, I think that was good that you touched on the part that fear obviously is a factor for anything in your life, whether it's going on a solo trip to figure out what makes you happy or doing things by yourself. I feel like a lot of people now don't know how to really listen to themselves because there's so much noise, whether that's
so much noise.
People wake up, they go on their phone, they scroll on TikTok, immediately drain the dopamine, get up, go throughout their day, they're talking to their friends, they're listening to music on the way to wherever they're going in the car.
Yep.
I mean, there's always these outside things that are telling you what you should think and what you shouldn't think.
Yeah, there's always something you can tune into instead of like allowing your body to talk or to like process.
And just let your mind go to wherever it goes naturally without all of. I mean, I took a solo camping trip for 2.5 days.
How's that?
It was good. I mean, I bought bad wood on the side of the road, so I couldn't have a fire. It sucked, dude. But no, it was awesome because I adapted from that. I ended up falling asleep under the stars. Took the fly off my tent. Stars were bright. You gotta make something out of nothing. So
yeah,
good. It was good to kind of figure out what I want. Now I know that I want to pursue the film stuff a little more seriously.
Cool. You figured that out on the camping trip?
Yeah, and it was the morning, last morning when I was leaving that day. Like I got there that night, the first day, set up. I'm like, all right, it's gonna be nice, whatever. And it wasn't until the last day that I woke up and I was like, this has been in front of me the whole time. I've loved doing this. I know how to edit. I know how to shoot. I know I could be good at it if I really wanted to. And then I came back and a week later did this video for this place that I'm working at up in Maine. And she wants me to do more, and I don't know. But I think it's hard for people to really listen to themselves because I think they don't know how.
Yeah, it's not something we're really taught.
As well as I think the constant scrolling and music and all that stuff, I think that's an escape. I
Yeah.
think people use it as an escape instead of sitting there and really thinking and saying, okay, I have this going on that I need to handle in a week. I have this going on today. Instead, it's just like, boom, I wasted an hour, didn't learn a single thing, can't tell you what any of the videos are about.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an important thing that people need to really tap into who they are, what they want to be, where they want to be, etc.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we fall into cycles where we're outputting like energy and producing like when we're at work. Um, and often that work is like we said, like maybe not even what you like really dream of doing. But then when we're off work, we're just so busy consuming, whether that's music or information or TV or TikTok, and we don't have time to like process everything and like listen to our like intuition and like feelings about how like we want to be feeling and what we want to be doing, and then we don't have like the time or the energy after doing all that to really decide what we want to output and where we want to steer our life. So it almost gets like steered for us by outside influences. And there are plenty that want to. Like that's what advertising is. Like your life will be steered for you if you're not steering it.
Doing nothing is doing something.
Yeah, and when you went out and went camping and disconnected from all that, it seems like you woke up with something that like really resonated with you.
I love that you said that. You said if you don't steer the ship, go to work, come home, watch TV, eat dinner, scroll on your phone, go to bed, wake up, come home, eat dinner, like that is doing nothing is doing something, and nothing's going to change. So you can't be mad because you're not taking the steps. Myself included, I
Totally.
have bad habits that I like to kick, and I start to, and I don't finish, and I do it for 4 months, and it falls off. So, I mean, I think recognizing it is a big part.
Yeah, totally. I think recognizing is huge, and I think there's a good book called like the Gap versus the Gain. I forget who it's by off the top of my head, but it basically the idea is just we are really good at looking at the gap and being like, damn, like I've been trying to do these things, I've been trying to change these habits, but I haven't done it yet. And like I'm here and like I still want to be over there. And we don't often enough look back and see how far we've come. So I think it is good to remind yourself that like the fact that you're even dreaming of those things is probably more than you were doing 2 years ago. Like you are closer to that than you were. And I think the more we can remind ourselves of that, like a healthy amount, that can give us motivation and energy to like continue to chase that gap.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think one of my last things, I
Yeah.
think for a lot, I think this problem for a lot of people that they can't love themselves and appreciate how far they've come. And for me personally, thinking about being back in Florida a year and a half, 2 years ago, and thinking to myself, like, I'm never getting out of here. Like, I remember, like, there was a point where I was so overwhelmed with, like, the schoolwork stuff, and I wasn't really, like, relating to the stuff that my friends were because they were just going to party all the time at school.
Mm.
Um, I love them, but, like, it's just not what I wanted at that time. So to sit back here and say on paper, it doesn't seem that I've done that much, but saying, wow, like look at all these steps that I've taken. Like I moved in with my grandfather, started working a few jobs, figured my own thing out in Maine, figured out the vehicle thing, and just made it work. Your parents tell you that, sister, brother, friends, whatever, but it takes one person on the outside to say, look at how far you've come, or something similar to that, and it kind of hits you. So I think people really need to sit down sometimes and recognize how far they've come in whatever situation, whether it's with relationship, financial, how you've rebounded and bounced back from a negative situation.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I see you in your life and everything you've done. I'm like, you got nothing to worry about. Like you've already broke the cycle of doing what you thought you should do. And I feel like the question you're now asking yourself is like, what do I want to do? And I think that that is something that is just immensely important and powerful. So I think that's really cool. I think that's a big part of why I wanted to talk to you today was we always end up having conversations like this, like unintentionally. So,
Even if it starts with like a joke and then somehow we just like wind up in this philosophical
realm of
yeah, just like no, but it's good. It's always like I learn. I hope you get something out of it. Like
Totally.
it's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can I ask you one more question?
Absolutely.
And then we'll call it as quits. I just want to ask what's currently your biggest challenge? What challenge are you currently facing? And like how is that?
My current challenge that I'm facing is discipline. I think it's a lot of people's challenge.
Yeah.
The discipline of there's a quote, and I'm not going to remember it word for word, but it's the pain of regret is worse than the pain of discipline. And like that has stuck with me. I have a good buddy in Florida, one of my best friends. I sent it to him, and it just really resonated with us because of an experience, and I feel like that's everything. That's my biggest problem is discipline. I start something, I start going to the gym every day, eating good, making protein shakes, etc. for 4 or 5 months, then I drop off. I see the lifestyle that I want, and I know a big step of what I need to do to get there, but I haven't disciplined myself enough to get to where I want to be, and there's only you to blame. It's not anybody else's influence. Nobody else caused this problem for you, and it's a personal thing. And I think in everybody's life, they could do things to discipline themselves and be better for it.
Yeah, I really like that answer. I think that's something that I personally have struggled with, and I think, like you said, a lot of people do. And yeah, it comes with practice and like learning how you feel when you do the thing that you know you should do versus doing the thing that like your ego and your brain are like still clinging to, that old habit.
Circling back, having a great night, drinking with all your friends is great, but if you can be happy, ton of dopamine, but if you stay on a goal, look back in 5 months and say, I did what I said I was going to do, that is fulfillment. It's kind of it's an example of how I look at happiness versus fulfillment.
Totally, yeah, and that fulfillment comes because you've moved your life in a direction, you've steered it. You said like working out matters to me, and like the new me like enjoys working out and is disciplined and does work out, and you rewrite that script and you reprogram yourself to be that person that you like aim to be, which is something I can definitely relate to as someone who also has been wanting to work out more and wanting to get stronger, and that's kind of in my script, and I want to become the person that is working out more and is becoming stronger.
And you can't rely on motivation. Like
yeah, because you won't want to do it.
It's not strong enough. You're not always going to have motivation. Like you have to be disciplined.
That's a big thing. That's huge. Because you might want to do it for even a month, but eventually you're gonna wake up and you're not gonna want to do it, and it takes that like inner knowing that future you is gonna be very happy that you did it.
And any workout is better than a bad workout.
Totally.
Sorry, a bad work.
Bad workout's better than no workout.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Ryan. This is really, really great. I'm happy you wanted to do this.
I appreciate it. My hands are super cold. It's cold out.
Mine
Thank
too.
you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Yep.
Check it out. Everything and Nothing, Season 3, Episode 1.
Let's go. Let's get it.